No, I can't win this, I'm too pale. Hey guys, it's Isla and Slides Left. So this is the second installment of a series I like to call A-Levels Tips and Tricks. If you haven't seen the first video, I talked about maths A-level and things to do while revising and in the exam and blah blah blah. If you want to go and watch that, click down there and we'll have a good time. Today, however, I'm going to talk about drama A-level. First thing, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, someone who did maths and drama A-level? What a weirdo. Yeah, I don't know why, but I've always hated English and writing, but I'm really good at like maths and logic. But then on top of that, I love theatre and reading about plays, and I find it so exciting. So yes, I have a weird brain. Let's move on. Firstly, I want to talk about how our course was broken down, just in case it was different to yours, and you know, you can see what you can take from this video and what you cannot. So for us, it was 40% practical, 20% in year 12 and 20% in year 13. We had to do one already written script in the style of her practitioner. For me, I was in a group of 5 girls and we did the Snow Queen in the style of Knee-High Theatre Company. And then in year 13, we had to do a devised piece, which basically means like you have to make the whole thing up. And for that, you had to do it in a particular style. For me, I was with me and one of my really good friends, Flora, and we did a piece in the style of verbatim, which means like words spoken by real people. So we did ours on Ellis Island immigration, and if you don't know, that is when everyone kind of came across to America and they had to go through Ellis Island, and that was how they kind of got their visas and everything like that. And some people had some really scary experiences being locked in jail and everything like that. So it was a really interesting topic to do. Anyway, that's not who I'm to talk about today. I'm here to talk to you about exam writing, because that's what we all struggle with. We all know that if you sign up to do drama A-level, you're not really doing it for the literature, you're doing it for the performing aspect. I mean, I'm not judging you if you do it for the written. Congrats, to be honest, because that's what the rest of us struggle with. So for me, obviously, the other 60% of the course was written. Again, 30% in year 12 and 30% in year 13. So across those 2 exams, we wrote about 3 plays that we'd studied in depth through the course, and 1 that we'd seen live that was like a vague question asking about any show you'd seen. So I'd say when revising, the first thing to do is make sure you have good notes in your books. If you have a course like mine, we were allowed to take in our books, which had like in-depth notes written all over the script, and it was amazing. The only rules were you weren't allowed to write full sentences, so make sure you just put in keywords. Maybe if you're really organized like I was, write out all the sentences you want in the book in pencil, and then go over it and like take out the ands and the its and the was, and then you just have the keywords and you'll probably still be able to understand it. I'd also say color coding was useful. I did that a lot. So say like red was this particular character, green was another. So that meant if a question asked you about a particular character, you'd be able to flick through it and find like the really important bits for that particular character. And especially for me, I was always really rushed for time, so that made it a lot easier to find things that I needed instead of having to like actually read it. I also found that during the whole year, I did many essays that were bad, but when I did a good one, I would write those notes into my book straight away because I'd be like, these are good. Next thing I'd say, it's really stupid, but read the bloody question. I was not very good at this, I'll be honest. For a while, I would just write like whatever was written in my book, and I'd be like, okay, well, this is like good, right? But you have to remember the end bit of the sentence saying, you know, something like, to result with this, to lead to this outcome. You have to talk about how it leads to that. Otherwise, what are you writing about? Our teacher always used the great example. It's like going to the supermarket with the aim to get bananas and then coming back with oranges. It's like, okay, you did the task, but you didn't fulfill the aims. Philosophical, am I right? So yes, just read the question. Next thing I say, yes, the exam is very rushed, so don't waffle. No waffling is allowed. It's so much better to get in more points in than go on about one point in too much detail. If you have lots of things to talk about them all so you can get them all in. Next thing I say is for one of the books we had to study, we'd get given the same question but a different extract of the book. Now usually this would happen over a scene change, and this is important. When you're writing about your vision for the scene change, it should take up at least a third of the essay. Scene changes, if you miss any details out, that's marked out. You need to be so in depth so that they can literally see what you're visioning. They need to know what you're seeing, because otherwise, how can they judge your version of the play, you know? Also, if there's like a professional production of the play you're doing, like the National Theatre, do not write the same directorial notes as that, because they will have seen that version and they want to see your own ideas. If your school did one, sure, go ahead, use those notes because they're not going to have seen your school production of it. But just don't use the professional production because they will discredit you. Yes. I don't know what else to say, wow. Thank you very much for watching this video. As I said last week, if there's anyone here who has done A-level drama and has any other things that they'd like to say, again, pop them down below because, you know, I'm not the best of the best. I don't think I actually said what grade I got, but I got an A eventually, so if that means anything, sure. There. Again, if you haven't watched my A-level results video, it'll be down there somewhere. And subscribe if you're new around here. I make uni content and like funny stuff and musical theatre things. And yes, I am a great channel. See you very soon. Get through those exams. You can do it. Stop procrastinating. I'll see you next week.